Now hear me out. I myself am a dog person and I think cats are evil. So if you help cats, then you're automatically not a good person. The movie begins with Riley and all of her emotions super excited to get on the ice and play some hockey. During the hockey match, we're reintroduced to the emotions. First we have Joy, who's controlling the entire operation in Riley's head, but allows others a chance to take control from time to time because if we remember from the last movie, all of the emotions need a chance to shine. The other emotions are the same as the first movie. We have joy, sadness, disgust, fear, and anger, but it still felt like Joy was in control. She was micromanaging everyone, but whatever. So Riley gets sent off the ice for tripping someone, and while she's on the sideline, we're taken back by Joy for a little recap on Riley's life to tell us what went down since the first movie. This little trip down memory lane is nothing special, but here's basically what happened. Riley tried cooking chicken for her parents and burnt it. But instead of being good parents and giving her constructive criticism, they lie to her face and pretend that it's good. Riley's at the top of her class. She's basically a nerd, which we figured out as soon as we saw her braces in the opening scene. She's apparently also really kind and nice to stray cats. Now hear me out. I myself am a dog person and I think cats are evil. So if you help cats, then you're automatically not a good person. Sorry cat lovers, that's just how it is. The final thing Joy mentions is that Riley is now 13. Officially a teenager. Riley is now growing more personality islands, which as the name suggests is islands of Riley's personality, or something like that. Apparently Boy Band Island is gone. How is Boy Band a personality? I have no idea. Goofball Island is also a personality, I guess, and Riley still has that one. Family Island is a small ass piece of land blocked by another island called Friendship Island, meaning Riley values her friends above her family. What? So Joy discovered that Riley's memories don't only create all of these islands, but they also create something else called beliefs at the root level of Riley's mind. This is where we start hearing the most annoying self-belief quotes in the movie.
Mom and Dad are proud of me.
Let me break down what these belief things are. So when Riley has an experience, it creates a memory, and those memories create these personality islands, which, as I mentioned, is Riley's personality. But these memories also create the belief system, so I think it's all connected somehow, you know, like full circle or whatever. Essentially, there is a giant glowing pool way down at the bottom of headquarters, and Joy literally takes Riley's memories and drops them into the water, and once the memories hit the water, it sprouts into these glowing musical light strings that stretch all the way up to the ceiling. Anyways, a clumsy girl in Riley's class does a presentation and within 2 seconds creates a fool out of herself, and the whole class is laughing. Now, I know the movie makes the kids laughing seem like they're bad for laughing at that, but come on, if that happened in real life, I'm laughing, let's be real. Best friends would laugh the loudest. I'm just saying, maybe Riley isn't a real one. So Riley helps the girl, whose name is Grace by the way, pick up her coins, along with another girl named Bree who only picked up 1 coin. Bruh. Anyways, so they all become the best of friends. This is the moment Riley grows her first sense of self, which grows once you put all of the beliefs together, or yeah, you following? Good, moving on. So these sense of self things make the annoying "I'm a good person" noises, and is apparently the thing that helps Riley make good choices or something. And just like that, Riley is back in the hockey game and the score is tie. With 1 second left on the clock, Riley's team scores and wins the championship. Once they finish celebrating, what the heck? Once they finished celebrating, the head coach invites Riley and her friends to a hockey skills camp. Riley arrives home with her parents, who she apparently doesn't care about, and begins acting weird. She begins getting emotional without the emotions controlling her, which is a bit weird. But as Joy does so well, she just brushes it under the rug, literally throwing Riley's memory to the back of her mind and moves on like nothing happened. And everything actually starts to look fine. Until, while all of the emotions are sleeping, Joy hears a beep sound in HQ, and they all go out to investigate, only to see a giant red button labeled what? They see a giant red button labeled Puberty. An entire wrecking crew demolishes and rebuilds an entire headquarters overnight, messing up all of the emotions controls and causing Riley to overreact. So moving on, Riley and her friends begin driving to the hockey training thing, and on their way there, Disgust realizes that Riley's friends are hiding something from Riley. And before we continue, I have a question. You see, Riley's emotions have male and female emotions, but every other person have emotions based off of their gender. Like Bree, her mom, her dad, and it seems like Riley is the only person with multiple genders in her brain. Why? I don't know. It was just weird and annoying, and I thought I'd bring it up. But moving on. Disgust figures out that Bree and Grace are not going to the same high school as Riley, and Riley brushes this off, but in reality, she is very sad. So Riley and her friends arrive at the camp, and Riley bumps into the most popular girl or something, and she starts panicking because I think she's like a fan or whatever. The emotions don't know what to do, and then the HQ control panel turns orange. And this is where we're introduced to the new emotions, who are anxiety, envy, embarrassment, and ennui, which is boredom. But here's another problem I have. How come Riley has all of these new emotions, but we never see them in any other adult? Huh? You see what I mean? I don't get it. So Riley leaves her friends behind to hang out with the cool girls, which is what anxiety decided to do because she's some sort of freak who plans 10 years ahead and believes this is the best part for Riley's future. So when they get to the dressing room, Riley decides to ditch the cool girls and celebrate with her friends, and Joy is having fun with the controls and gets Riley and the whole team into trouble because she's immature. After practice, Riley overhears the older players talking about her, calling her immature and all that, which is true. I mean, she's 13 and excited to be there. She's allowed to be a little bit immature, man. Come on. But hearing this, the emotions freak out and anxiety fixes the situation. Joy isn't happy about this because, she likes control. And the two get into an argument. And in the end, anxiety rips out Riley's sense of self thing and sends it back to the back of Riley's mind. She kidnaps the old gang and banishes them from headquarters, leaving anxiety in charge of Riley's emotions. So anxiety creates these new memories for Riley and takes them down to the glowing pool and begins creating a new sense of self, completely changing who Riley is. At this point, the original gang of emotions are banished to the vault, which is Riley's secrets. But they aren't there for too long though, they escape rather easily. But here's a little side note that I have, like a little issue I have. You see, the big dark secret smashes open the jar that the gang was trapped in. He literally hits the jar down. He doesn't unscrew it or anything. He smashes the lid of the jar and the whole thing shatters into pieces. But the gang don't have any cuts from the shattered glass, and the cap of the jar just disappears. It doesn't fall on them or nothing. It just disappears. What is going on? Anyway, it's not a big deal. I just thought I'd point that out. Moving on. So before the gang head back to headquarters, Joy wants to journey to the back of the mind to retrieve Riley's original sense of self thing. Another thing I don't understand about this movie is that the emotions have their own emotions. As you can see in almost all of them, Joy gets worried and sad, anxiety gets happy and sad and scared. If Riley has people running in her brain as emotions, then do these emotions have people running around their head as the emotions? Because if you're an emotion, then you shouldn't have other emotions displaying, If you are joy, then your whole personality needs to be joy. If you sadness, then you're just sad the whole time. You shouldn't be able to feel joy or fear or anything like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't... Anyways, it's not important. It's just a kid's movie, bro. Moving on. So Joy and the crew continue along their journey while anxiety and the new recruits continue controlling Riley. And to be fair to them, Riley seems to be doing pretty well at this point. Joy sends Sadness up a tube back to headquarters so that when the gang is ready to come back, Sadness can help, while anxiety continues growing the new sense of self thing, causing the old one to start dying. But as the crew continue in their adventure, they get stuck at a sarcasm. Get it? Sarcasm.
Please! We really need your help! We really need your help!
What's their problem?
But they need to find a way to get across before anxiety takes full control of Riley. Back in headquarters, anxiety decides to find out what Riley's coach thinks of her by sneaking into her office and looking into her files. She finds out that her coach thinks Riley isn't ready yet, which causes anxiety to try and think of new ways to try and change the coach's mind, which causes Joy and the crew to get stuck in a brainstorm, which they obviously escape. Joy finally finds the original sense of self, but it's too late, because back in headquarters, anxiety has finally finished her own version, which actually backfires as Riley now believes that she isn't good enough in anything. But that doesn't matter to anxiety. She just tries to use this new sense of self to drive Riley to do better, which I think is actually great. It's better than lying to yourself thinking you're perfect when you're not. Anyways, the gang head back to try and fix things, while anxiety begins to stress stressed out because Riley needs 3 goals to make it into the team or something like that. Oh yeah, Riley is also playing a hockey match at this point. During her match, Riley is so determined to get her 3 goals that she plays selfish and dirty and eventually injures Grace, her best friend. And she's sent to the penalty box, and while she's there, I think she has like a panic attack or something, but it causes all of the emotions to freak out. Luckily, even though it took Joy a long time to get to the back of Riley's mind, it only takes a few minutes to get back to HQ. And then Joy talks to Anxiety and tells her, "You don't get to choose who Riley is," even though that's exactly what Joy has done over the past 13 years, but whatever. So Anxiety is in a frozen state, and I'm not too sure what's actually happening at this point, but Joy ends up talking to Anxiety and calms her down, but it's not enough. Even with the old sense of self back in its place, Riley is still stressing. But not to worry, a bunch of new emotions begin to flood that pool downstairs and forms a brand new sense of self, and all the emotions hug it, and I guess that helped Riley calm down or whatever. Everything is fine now, and Riley apologizes to Grace, and yeah, I guess that was the whole movie. All that happens next is as you would expect. Riley and her friends are back together, Joy is still controlling things, but all the emotions are working in sync. Riley's coach doesn't even punish Riley for almost breaking Grace's arm, which is crazy, but you know, like whatever. Point is, everything is fine now. Anyway, that was the movie. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy it, why not hit that subscribe button and see more of me? But yeah, I appreciate you for watching. If you made it up till this point, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.